This episode is sponsored by Geek Squad's Idea Festival. Geek Squad needs your help to fix the planet. Head on over to ideafest.geeksquad.com to submit your idea on how we can use technology to protect our planet. Our idea? Go in and tweak the power settings on your computer so that instead of displaying a screensaver, it just turns your screen off. If everyone did that, it would save an ungodly amount of megawatt usage. That's our idea. What's yours? Let your voice be heard at ideafest.geeksquad.com. Hey guys, Andru Edwards here from Gear Live, and we're here with Stacy Wolff, the Director of Notebook Product Design from Hewlett-Packard.
That's correct.
And so, Director of Notebook Product Design, what exactly does that entail?
Well, I'm responsible for all notebook design worldwide for HP. So whether it be the commercial notebooks or the consumer notebooks, it's my team that's doing the design work.
Okay, so when you say design, you're actually talking about the aesthetics of the computer, the design that like is on the casing and that kind of stuff?
It's kind of all levels. My group is made up of industrial designers, user interface designers, packaging designers, and also graphic artists. So it really is all the touch points that the consumer comes in contact with when they look at our computers.
Okay, and so as far as testing goes, before something goes to market, I'm assuming you guys, you blueprint everything out.
Yeah.
Do you actually have user groups that come in to actually tell you what they think, or do you guys finish it all off yourselves?
Oh, no. In fact, I skipped over. I have human factors as well as part of my group. And so we do a lot of contextual studies as well as just kind of forums, right, where you bring people in and we bring the product out and we kind of hear what they have to say about the product. We've been doing, I think, almost a little reconnaissance in a way, where we've been getting out to different regions. We were talking before, I've been on the road for about 5 weeks.
Right.
So I was actually in Singapore last week meeting with the country managers who sell our products, who are basically on the street, and hearing firsthand of what they like in the product, what they don't like in the product, and what do we need to do to make our product better. So we're very, very focused on meeting with the customer face to face.
Okay, and we have some computers here we're going to take a look at in a second, but I just want to ask you, what have you been finding people saying are their favorite features, or what do people want right now in this day and age from a laptop design?
Well, I think there's a couple pieces, and there's a baseline, right? I think everybody wants a dependable PC, right? That doesn't break down, doesn't cause them fits and stuff. And HP's invested quite a bit, especially in the notebook arena, to make sure that we're not having failures out there. So we have a team just dedicated to total customer experience, and these folks are basically looking at making that product as the best it can be.
Okay. But people also want cool computers, right?
People want cool computers. So what you're seeing is a huge investment that HP's made over the last couple of years, and you see it with some of the products that we're going to go through here. But just in our baseline, the DV2000 that we launched in 06, that was the first time we used what was called HP Imprint Technology. This is basically where you kind of decorate the outside of that product with a pattern, a color. It's taking that product to almost a fashion sense. So again, when we talk about the PC, it's really consumer electronics in general. People want to connect with it,
right.
And so what we're doing is we're putting designs out there, and it's not just a spectrum of colors. It's designs that resonate with people. It's a mature, sophisticated color scheme and pattern that we're putting out there. And obviously there's a variety, and you're going to see that here.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. What do you want to start with first? What do we have here?
I think the best way to start is go big, and then we'll go small.
Okay. Let's do that.
And so what I have here is the what's called Dragon, and this is really kind of a first for a notebook arena, right? Where we've basically said, all the rules of.
And this is definitely large.
It's definitely large. So it's a 20-inch screen. Okay, it's a 1080p. So it's basically for high definition. It has HD DVD built in, right? So if you want your high definition movie, that experience, this is the product for you, right? The key thing about it from a design perspective is that there's a lot of 20-inch notebooks out there. When we started doing the design effort on this, it was one of those things that we were looking at. It's like something's wrong. You just don't make a bigger notebook. It has to be something more. And if you look at this product, if I just kind of twist it to the side, you can kind of see that it actually has a hinge that is a dual hinge. Okay. And the dual hinge gives you the flexibility of bringing the display forward. So what's key about this, and what we found in our testings, is that the display from this to your user has the same distance that a 14-inch notebook does. okay? This is pretty keen, right?
Okay.
Because whether you be gaming or whether you're just into kind of a media setting, you don't want the screen to be across the room, right? You want it to be closer to you. And so by doing this kind of cantilever, we've done that. The other part is, as you start to deal with different heights of people and stuff, by having this on this hinge, now you can also adjust it from a height standpoint as well.
Okay.
Right? Now, the thing is, let me open it for you guys so you can kind of see it. It's pretty cool as far as the mechanism, right? There's no latches, so I can close it up. I just shut it down. It has almost a cam over, so it closes itself, okay? And then when I lift it, you're going to watch it, and it's going to kick out, right? And what it does is it actually has an internal locking mechanism that allows the user to not even think about it. They open and close it just like they would kind of a car hood, right? Okay. And so it's very, very simple. You'll notice on the back on this guy, and again, the back looks just as good as the front on this. We have a lighted logo. This is the first time we've really kind of started to say, we want to broadcast. HP's got some cool product out there, right? So that's backlit. You see the hinge, the arm in the back, that's all magnesium. So we're talking about, it's not just pretty aesthetics, right? We're talking about some really nice construction material. And then when we get to the front, it is kind of a plethora of buttons on there, right? It's kind of, for the technophile, you got everything on here. Across the front, you have your quick play, which is something that we've kind of developed and really brought forth, and we're still continuing to perfect that. What you notice here is it's got a little TV icon because it's got integrated TV tuning, okay? So now you're cooking with this box. Not only are you just playing your DVDs, you're also watching TV. I want to point you out here. This is something that we discovered, is that when we were talking with users, it's like, can you do something about all the LEDs? I want to watch the movie, but I don't want to have all the LEDs on. And so what we actually have is a movie setting. So you press that little button and all the LEDs go off. So my focus is on the screen. Right. Again, this is, talking to the actual people that are using it. Obviously it's wireless. That's kind of a no-brainer. But you notice it also has bass and treble, right? So you're dealing with a subwoofer that's in the bass. Remember, it's 4 speakers up front and a subwoofer in the bass. So whether you're gaming or entertainment, you're definitely getting a full surround sound package with this.
Now, is this touch sensitive, or are these actual?
It's all touch sensitive. So one of the things about touch sensitivity is that it's it won't break, right? You don't have buttons, you don't have crevices, you don't have debris that's going to fall in. You basically have one clean surface. The nice thing too is that if you want to make it, want to clean it off, you just take a rag and wipe it clean, right? A couple things about this box is it uses a full-size keyboard. So basically it's a desktop keyboard. Okay. We've put a coating on here, so this is actually a durable coating that's on top of the keys. The other thing is that it looks like a remote. It is a remote, right? So let me kind of pop that out.
So it just stores right in there.
It just stores right on board. And the key thing is that you want to have a home for the remote, otherwise you're looking around your house for the remote, right? Now this is a very, very thin remote. It gives you full control. A couple things about this remote is it has what was called HP Q control. And it kind of looks like a backwards Q. And what we found in our research is that when you're dealing with kind of navigation, up, down, select, or whatever it might be, people want the back button, right? How do I get out of this, right? And so what we've incorporated is tying those elements together. So whether you see it on a printer or on this product, it's kind of just a common interface that HP's been kind of putting out there on its products. A couple things about the actual touchpad on this, which is quite nice, is it's actually all built into the plastic. Okay, so typically where you see a touchpad, you see kind of a hole. Right. We actually have it's one continuous piece of plastic, but you notice almost like the old air hockey table, right? You got these little dimples on the table, right? And what you have is almost a tactile feel. So if it's low light and I'm navigating on the screen, this is something that when we're doing the user testing, we had a bunch of different kind of concepts, and having the dimples, people go, hey, that's kind of neat. And it was almost like a little bit of interaction gravity where people kind of came up to it and goes, that's cool.
So there's a reason for that. It's not just for design.
It's not just for design. It was one of those things that we wanted to make sure that you didn't kind of impede that whole surface with a big hole on that keyboard deck, but at the same time we wanted that feedback so you knew where you were, as far as running your finger on it. I'm going to kind of move along here and show you a couple. These I'm going to talk about in pairs here. Okay. And so one of the things that HP's been doing is, instead of, like I said earlier, instead of doing 8 different or 9 different colors, what we've been doing is kind of targeting different customer segments, right? And so I have what is called Influx, and this is a white and silver PC, and I really wouldn't call it white. When we developed this color, we actually were going after a ceramic look and feel. So it's actually just a little bit off of a white. The nice thing about it is that when it's in the home decor and stuff, it kind of goes with everything that's in the inside.
So you thought about that consciously, like what kind of decor is this customer going to have? How does this computer match that?
Well, it's one of those things, you develop these personas, right? Whether it be a Jill or a Jim or whatever you want to call these people, there's actually a profile that we'll go through, and it's like, what kind of house do they have? What kind of woodwork might they look at? What kind of things do they buy? What other computer, or I shouldn't say computer, but electronic accessories they might buy? All that kind of plays into it. And so when you start to look at, what's going to resonate with that buyer, one of the things that we found is that having that kind of almost earthy ceramic quality matched up with a silver resonated really high. Okay. Now, this is an alternative. We have this exact same box in a black and silver scheme. Okay, but Influx has a couple of neat things about it. If you look on the back side of this, you'll see almost kind of an order to chaos, and that was actually the internal code name when we were going through and developing the pattern. Is it goes from this orderly kind of almost grid work to this chaotic digital kind of noise that's coming across there. That's a good term, right? And it is one of those things that having that secondary read. We were talking earlier about when we look at an HP product, one of the things that we want you to notice is the gesture of it. Right, the profile of it. We got kind of this hinge that we developed in the back that was developed a couple years ago, and it's basically what we've called the yin and yang. Right, it's kind of where spoons go together and stuff. Mm-hmm. It just looks natural. It looks almost organic. Okay, and you have this very tapered front, so you have a very slender profile. That's your first read, right? It looks thin, it looks dynamic, but when you get closer to it, you start to see this pattern, and you get that second read. And that really, it's kind of where people identify with themselves or with the product in themselves. Now, this one is really where you start talking about more of a youth inspiration. And we were looking at it earlier, and you're going, "Hey, I see a snowboarder."
Yeah, if you can see this here, there's a guy snowboarding right here. There's a fast forward signal. There's a plane. There's a beach ball of some sort. There's a leaf. So there's all these elements just like almost hidden in there.
It's kind of hidden in there. And one of the things is that you could almost see this pattern on the bottom of a skateboard or something, right? And again, we're not targeting only to youth. The materials on here are mature and sophisticated, so it runs, kind of a fairly good range. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a very strong alternative to what we have on our core line. So
are these two that we're looking at right here? Is it the same material that you've used to create them?
There's the same material. What you see here is when we developed 2 years ago what's called HP Imprint, which is basically decorating that surface or in-mold decoration. So what's really cool about this is that when this part actually comes from the tool or falls from the tool, most of our competitors basically take that piece of plastic, they have to paint it, right? Then they'll clear coat it, and then it looks kind of like this shiny red or shiny blue or whatever it might be. This part actually falls from the tool looking like that. So all that pattern, all that color is actually inside the tool when it falls out, okay, or when that part falls out. Now this guy, it's kind of this organic, almost squid-like form, and we have these like little tentacles that kind of actually go into the touchpad and all the way across to the other side. And you'll notice that we actually have this gradient that's coming across there. So we're doing stuff that you can't even do with paint, right? So this is just
so this is not paint, is what you're saying?
This is not paint.
So how do you design something like this?
Let me tell you something that's kind of blow your mind, right? And that is that this is actually ink. Right? So it's kind of a little bit of coincidental, right? HP's a printing company. These boxes, everything that you see on this table is printed, not painted. And what it is it's basically taking ink on a carrier sheet, okay? The injection molded tool goes around that carrier sheet, and when that hot plastic touches that ink, it's almost like tattooing plastic.
Wow.
So when it pulls apart, that's what you get.
That's the end result.
End result. There's no clear coat, there's no polishing, no turtle wax. That gloss comes from inside that tool.
So even as subtle as going from the black, like this looks like it just goes from black to bronze, like all in one piece. That's the same process?
Same process. It's all one thing, right? And same on the outside. And this is actually almost like a bronze chrome, right? And there's some special things in it because normally you can't have chrome over antennas and things like that. It blocks the radio signal.
Right, certainly.
This guy doesn't do that, right? The antennas are in there and they're working fine, but it's just a really wicked color and a wicked material.
As we have one last one over here.
I have one last one, and this is where we change gears. Remember I told you Director of Design included notebooks that were in the consumer segment and commercial segment, right?
Right.
This is in the commercial space. So HP's now spent a lot of time if you will, invigorating what we had in the consumer space. If you look at the DV 2000 all the way up to the 9000 or the TX 1000, 3000 or now the Dragon, right? Those are very, very cool products, and we want to bring some of that coolness now into the commercial space.
Okay.
And so what
where it's actually been lacking previously, right?
Yeah, basically, in the past, people just said, "Give me a black box, don't put anything in it, just no frills, right?
Indestructible, black.
Indestructible, right? Durability was the key factor. But materials are starting to get more sophisticated. So not only can I have something that's strong aesthetically, but I can also have something that's wickedly durable. Okay. Right. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you a couple things about this. First off,
what's the name of this model?
This is the 2710P. Okay, and this is a brand new product in our business space. This is a tablet. Okay, so it has the swivel screen, right? So you can pivot the screen. You can pivot all the way around and collapse it down. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about the inside before we go there. It has basically a stainless steel palm rest, okay, and it's brushed, so it's almost like this brushed aluminum or satin aluminum look, right? And then the keys are actually painted this time, right? And typically keycaps are just molded plastic. We're using a clear coat on this in this process, and I was talking to you earlier about the durability of the keys. Typically, when you type on a keyboard, it wears out in a couple months.
Right. So typically, I'm assuming you have a key and you just paint the letter or number on there.
You just paint it on there, yep.
So as opposed to what you're doing here, which is what?
So what we're doing is we're basically painting the keycap, and then with that, we use a special clear coat that's on top of this. Mm-hmm. Okay. That clear coat takes the durability of the normal keycap and increases it like 50 times.
Okay, so you told me an incredible number earlier before.
So let me give you an idea. When we test it, right? We test any product. Every product goes out. We test it, and a normal product, normal plastic, has what we consider on an abrasion test 5,000 cycles.
Okay.
Okay. This keyboard goes to 250,000 cycles.
Right.
Okay. So that kind of gives you a comparison as to if you know your keycaps are failing. We tested at 5,000, and that's kind of the borderline.
Right.
This thing goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so you'll probably be replacing your computer before these keys wear out.
That's the whole idea. Remember, a lot of these products are 3-year warranty products, so they really need to be durable. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's one of the reasons you're seeing the use of metal surfaces, clear coats that are just basically indestructible.
Right.
Now, a couple things about this. Remember, it's a tablet. Okay. So it has glass across the top. So it actually has a 1 millimeter thin piece of glass that goes across the top of that. What's nice about that? It makes the actual display last longer in the sense that it's an added durability. Right, so glass. Impact, it's going to protect your display. The other thing about it is that on this box, I'm going to turn it around and make it into tablet mode here, is that you'll notice that it's actually chiseled away on just about every one of the sides, okay? And the benefit about chiseling away on this form factor is that when I hold it, okay, I hold it and it feels like a slate, like one piece, not two pieces. And for the medical industry or the insurance industry that's buying these things, kind of hand over fist, this is what they're looking for. The other thing I'll tell you is that you see that it's one continuous surface.
Right.
Okay. This is basically as close as you get to like flush screen. This surface actually also angles away. And so the benefit is that we wanted to mimic the feeling of writing on paper, okay? So there's no obstruction, there's no bezel around it.
You're not going to feel something pushing into your skin if you lean on this computer.
No pressure points, right? Now, I'm going to show you some stuff that's pretty cool. We've kind of coined this internally. It's almost like a James Bond kind of gadget, right?
Okay.
And so a couple of things about this is that we were showing it earlier. I'll show it to you here. I'm going to grab a business card, and then I'm going to slide it into the front here. And what we have is a little slot that's in the front. And what this product does, it has, if you can kind of just notice there's a macro micro setting to the camera. Okay. Most notebooks just have a video camera and it's for video chat, right?
Right.
Not this one. This is kind of dual purpose. This macro setting allows me to take the display and move it down to this position, and it actually focuses on the business card, and I just press any key that I can get access to. It takes a picture of that card, scans it, digitizes the text, and then it puts it into Outlook.
So just to clarify here, there's a built-in business card slot here on the front.
Business card slot in the front.
And this camera will take an image of the business card and then grab all the information from it and put it into Outlook, into your address book, all with one step.
And a couple things. It's in digital form, okay, which means it's editable. right? I can edit now in Outlook. The other part is I always keep an image of it, so let's just say it didn't translate a name correctly. I always have that image that I can go back to, or if it dropped a number or something like that. But we've been using it quite a bit in the office. It's very, very cool.
Okay.
Now, a couple of things about this product is it's a mobility product, which means you're going to be on planes, it's going to be low light. So this is the first time that we've actually introduced a night light, and that's what we're calling it, the HP night light. And the night light basically gives you the ability on a tablet that we've not done this before on a tablet. You press the button, out pops the light, gives you full illumination of the keyboard, and the nice thing about it is it tucks away, so when you're in tablet mode, there's no obstruction, you know.
So it'll illuminate the keys if you're in a dark place. Will it also illuminate the business card if you were in a dark area?
If you needed that added light, it would also add it for that as well, yeah. So when you pull it down, it will give a full light array at the bottom there. Now, a couple things about mobility is that you know that you're going to be on the road, and you may not be in a hot spot. So we've basically put wireless WAN, wide area network, into the box. So you basically come up to the top and you press a little button here. If I can press it correctly. There you go. And then you have an antenna. And we've done it in a blade antenna design. And the benefit is that in a notebook mode, it's going up, right? But in tablet mode, I'm actually going to be carrying this thing like this, and so I want the antenna to be
right, so you can push it up either way.
Right, so it's basically two-position antenna, right?
How much is this? I mean, we're talking about portability. How much does this weigh?
This is about 3.6 pounds. Okay, and so for the weight to the feature set, this thing is going to be really just an awesome productivity product for anybody in business. But even there, as we start to go into these small to medium business, where you might even see it at retail at some point, this is going to be a box that I think even the small to medium business buyer will want to gravitate to. Now, again, when we talked about it, this is stainless. The entire base pan and the entire display enclosure is all magnesium. So it is basically almost 100% metal construction. So again, from a durability standpoint, good. Okay. So a couple things about this product is you can't look at it just as the product. You have to look at it about its accessories, and so it has a couple different pieces to it. I'm going to hold up this product here. This is actually a lithium polymer battery. Okay, so a lithium polymer battery is basically flat cells, right? Flat battery cells. Think of like a sugar packet. Okay, and so they're filled inside here. And this is an aluminum enclosure, so it's aluminum top, aluminum bottom. Okay, and what I can do is I can mount this to the bottom of that unit. Okay, and then with that battery that's in the unit, with this battery, now I go over 10 hours battery life.
Okay, so and how much does this weigh?
This is about a pound.
So we're talking about, this is what again,
3.6.
So for 4.6 pounds, for a mobile professional, which is not that bad, you'll have 10 hours, a full business day and then some of battery life.
Correct. And so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of mounting it. It basically has, real simple for the user, 2 hooks up front, or 2 pockets up front, 2 hooks on this, and you basically drop your hooks into those pockets. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of almost fold it down, and I'm going to push on the back here to click, and then you notice that we also have a nice little lock feature where you can see the red, so that when I see red I know it's unlocked. When I don't see red I know I'm fully locked. Now with that strap to the bottom, okay, I have a all-day workhorse. Right.
It doesn't really change the profile all that much either. It doesn't stick out the back.
It doesn't stick out the back. You've seen a lot of our competitors where they keep adding more and more cells this way. The problem is when we do the human factors test is that, remember, 90% of the people that use tablet use it in a cradled fashion, right? At some point, they're taking notes like this, right?
They're going to be out here.
And so our battery, and this is the nice thing about the polymer battery, is it gives it equal weight distribution, okay? Now, when you hold it like this, okay, it's very comfortable. If I had the battery sticking out this way, you start to get a weight that's way out there from your elbow, and it's much harder to hold. So again, we've taken quite a bit of care into understanding the weight distribution on this product. Now, it goes one better. Now, you're going to say, well, what about my DVD? Now, we didn't put a DVD in here because of the weight, right? We tried to get it to a very base.
There's no optical drive on the base.
Optical drive in the base unit, but what we developed is this slice, and this slice basically gives you port replication. Okay, this is like a full dock. So I'll come up and I'll show you how you mount it. You have an eject lever, so it pops it free. But what we've incorporated in here, and this is really a first too, this is a 7mm DVD optical. Okay, so that thing is just wickedly small. You know, when people see it on my desk, they go, "What happened to the DVD?" You know, and I'm like, "No, that is it." He goes, "No, I thought that was just a piece of metal." You know, it is really thin. And so the nice thing is it's tucked away into another all aluminum. This is stamped aluminum shell. So again, we're talking metal to metal to metal construction. So from a durability standpoint, you're talking about 3 years of wear. This product is going to be very, very strong for most users.
Right. So I mean, that's the full gamut of what you guys have been doing. How has it changed in recent years? I mean, from a generation before this.
Well, you know, it's one of those things that I would say before 2006, where we started to really start to put focus, especially on the consumer side, put focus on design in general within the group. What we've seen with a lot of companies, and even HP at that time, was we were focused on selling technology. It's changed. We're now really selling an experience. We're selling a product that people identify with, and that's why you're seeing now these kind of slight alterations to the core platform, so that, you know, we kind of cater to this person or this demographic a little bit more.
Okay. Well, Stacy, thanks a lot for showing us the full gamut here. And so everything here, I'm assuming, is launched except for this one. Is that correct?
No, all of these have launched.
All of them have launched.
Okay, so basically the Dragon, which is was launched in Shanghai a couple months ago, is now shipping. Okay, so you can get that now. And then the 2710, that is also launched, and I believe it's shipping this month.
Okay.
Okay, and then the Verve, which is the kind of bronze chrome look, that's at Best Buy. It's an exclusive through Best Buy. And then the white one, which is Influx, that's now available worldwide.
Okay. So you can get any of these right now, or through HP.com, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stacy Wolff, the guy that's in charge of notebook design over at HP. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it. We'll have a little bit more from Gnome Decks in a little bit. This is Andru Edwards for Gear Live.